Hi everyone, isn't this lovely? We're here, we're wearing red. Spring is happening. Yummy. So good to see you. I saw you at the Bach, Green Hill. Yeah, that was a great concert. The solo violinist playing Bach.
Yes.
Yeah, I was way in the back. In and out. All right, well, welcome. I'm Lynn Hassler. For some new faces for me and some familiar faces, my father lived here. It's a very beloved, endeared place for me to be with you in your home, and it definitely feels like a home. I want to thank Hannah Cole always for collaborating with me, giving her wonderful ideas about music programs. Wanted to let you know that in my career of teaching, I'm bringing my students over here on Saturday, 4 o'clock, for an open piano class. And that's how they did teaching in the 19th century. They sat around in a circle and they would play for each other, and the teacher would say something or not say something. And so we're just going, I'm bringing about 12 young people with me, and they're going to play their pieces for them, just very casual. So I hope you just come on down, 4 o'clock, and see what's going on in this room with us. So for those that don't know me, I moved here from Phoenix, Arizona. I have been a pianist all my life, and when my father became ill, decided to move back to the East Coast. I have my training from New York City, so this was like coming home for me. And I play for UNG Dance School, and I teach piano at the Greensboro Performing Arts. And Hannah and I are bringing wonderful people in April for intergenerational programs with some of the dancers and music theater musicians from Greensboro Performing Arts to engage with all of us. Really looking forward to more happenings. I'm going to pass the microphone around so you can meet our players tonight.
Hello, my name is Brian Blauck. I am playing clarinet tonight. I moved down from Pennsylvania to go to UNCG. I have my bachelor's degree from clarinet performance from UNCG and master's from Arizona State. I play clarinet with Salisbury Symphony, and I sing with a couple other symphonies around, and play with a lot of musical theater groups in the area.
Hi, my name is Tom Tranchik. I'm from New York originally, and I also went to UNCG. I was there for master's and doctorate. I currently teach at Elon University, and I play with several orchestras throughout the state of North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Bree Souza. Tonight I'll be playing flute and bassoon. I'm originally from Northern California. I got my undergrad in Sacramento in flute performance and music education. And I moved out to Greensboro to get my master's degree in multiple woodwind performance, and I loved it so much that I stayed. And so I play with some orchestras here and there and some churches around central North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Carissa Bernig. I'm the horn player tonight. I also went to UNCG. I got my master's there after going to a few other schools before that. I am also, half of my time is spent in the United States Army Reserve Band out of Concord, North Carolina, and then the rest of that time I freelance and around the area. I teach private lessons, sub in with several different symphony orchestras, and just kind of do various things as they come up.
I want you to know that this is a very rare experience to hear this constellation of sound. There are only 2 other woodwind piano quintets. Beethoven heard Mozart's quintet and liked it so much that 16 years later he wrote one, and then another composer during Beethoven's time, 4. Later on, actually, Walter Gieseking, who's a pianist, wrote a quintet, but I don't think it's available, and very rare, very hard to find. So thank you for being here. You are in for a treat. I'm going to start our mainly Mozart program with a Mozart first movement from his sonata. And the reason why I want to start with this is that I want to introduce you to the classical style. The classical period is 1700 to 1800. Beethoven was the catalyst that broke the mold. But during that time, Handel and, Handel, Bach, and Scarlatti were born in 1685. So 50 years later, or 60 years later, Mozart is born. So we have a little bit of leftover Baroque style in with classical. And let me point some of those styles out, and then I'm going to give you the signature sound of classical period style, so that if you're ever listening to the radio, you'll say, that's Mozart, or that's Haydn. Yeah, well, and I think it was part of their time of formality. They always ended their phrases with a very formal ending. So whenever you hear the and, you know that's classical. Or if you hear a trill. That's very classical. They have a nice, beautiful trill. Now the trill came from the Baroque period, but in the classical period, it was extended to last longer. Another aspect of classical style is having a question-answer phrase. That says, did you have a nice dinner? Yes, we had mashed potatoes. Now this is where there's a little hybrid of classical sound with Baroque ideas. The Baroque idea of a process being a sequence. So that turns into now here comes your formal ending. Much of the music tonight, it's going to be in the sonata form where you are introduced to a theme and then a second theme. Here's your process, sequence. Of an idea, and I'm going to point some of this kind of form when we play the Mozart Quintet, so that you can appreciate hearing what's happening. He takes the ideas and plays with them. And then there's the return. play, there will be a first theme. Like for instance, I'm going to bring Brian up, and he's going to play the Alleluia from the Cantata Exultate Jubilate. You can hear this song by a soprano singing it, usually Easter time, so you might hear it pretty soon. But here's your theme. And then there'll be the end, and then the second theme will come out. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what your part is. When I do this, you'll be singing the second. I have what's called the accompaniment. He's got the melody. And then there's the development. And then the return of the first theme. Okay, so here is Alleluia, an early piece of Mozart. As you know, his dates are 1756 to 1795. He only lived to be 35 years old. He was a child prodigy. He could hear music at 6 and play it. They say that he could go to a concert and then come back home and play the whole symphony on the keyboard. He was a pianist and a violinist. I don't think he played it. I know he never played it. He didn't like the flute, so he didn't play it.
No, he definitely didn't play it.
We're going to now introduce you to Mozart Flute Concerto in G major was written in 1778. It was commissioned by the Dutch surgeon and amateur flautist Ferdinand de Jong. And Mozart was supposed to provide 4 flute quartets and 3 flute concertos. He only completed 2 of the 3 concertos, and this is one of them. So the history is he was traveling with his mother, and Mozart spent about 4 months in a German city in Mannheim. During this time, Mozart became acquainted with a flautist there who introduced him to Ferdinand de Jong, this amateur flautist and local physician. And this is when the commission happened, and he offered Mozart 200 gold pieces. There is a question whether or not Mozart liked the flute. The idea that may not have liked it comes from a letter he wrote to his father about why he had not finished the commission. De Jong is also leaving for Paris tomorrow, and because I have only finished 2 concertos and 3 quartets for him, has sent me 96 gulden too little, evidently supposing that this was the half of 200. But he must pay me in full, for that was my agreement, and I can send him the other pieces later. It is not surprising that I have not been able to finish them, for I have never a single quiet hour here. I can only compose at night, so that I can't get up early as well. Besides, one is not always in the mood for working. I could, to be sure, scribble off things the whole day long, but a composition of this kind goes out into the world, and naturally I do not want to have cause to be ashamed of my name on the title page. Moreover, you know that I become quite powerless whenever I am obliged to write for an instrument which I cannot bear. Hence, as a diversion, I compose something else, such as duets for piano and violin, or I'll work on my mass. This aside, however, this is no source that truly clarifies whether Mozart liked or disliked the instrument. It is possible that he feared the disappointment and anger of his father and merely made up reasons for his delay in finishing the commission. introduce the horn concerto and a little gossip about the horn and Mozart.
Do my best. So there are 4 horn concertos. So I think Mozart liked the horn. This one, what I'm going to play is just going to be the second movement of his 3rd horn concerto. It is a very, very common piece to ask middle schoolers to learn. It is one of these pieces that we learn from the very beginning, but our understanding of Mozart evolves as we learn and grow as musicians. So it seems like fairly simple melodies and rhythms suddenly becomes more complex as you learn to play the correct style and nuances of the piece. Now, Mozart had this little habit that he liked to do. He liked to play little tricks, little pranks on his horn player that he would be composing for. And there is originals. I think some of these might be maybe of an Eastman or something. They're hard to get your hands on, but there are originals that have little notes he'd write in there. So the horn player wouldn't exactly be expecting it. They'd be playing through one of the more faster sections in a 1st or 3rd movement, and he'd see something written in there. And I can't quite say what some of the things he wrote were because they're not really for polite company. But he would write little things that were unexpected just to try to trip up the horn player as he was playing. So it was all good fun and games, but he really wrote some very beautiful music for the horn that became standards for just generations of horn players after that.
Vivaldi and introduce a new instrument to you. If you are a Clint Eastwood fan in the room, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, the movie, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Well, that is the instrument of the ocarina, and Brian's going to share with you.
Okay, well first, the piece we're going to do is the Vivaldi's Il Cardellino Concerto for, which means goldfinch. It was written in 1728. There's some controversy whether he wrote it for flute or recorder. If you talk to a recorder player, he wrote it for a recorder. If you talk to a flute player, he wrote it for a flute player. So we're playing the second movement from that, but you're not going to hear it on that either one of those instruments. There we go. So you're going to hear it on ocarina, which is a little clay flute that looks like that. This was invented in 1850 by a gentleman named Giuseppe Donati in Budrio, Italy. And they were very popular up until the 1950s, and then they kind of died out. But there was a resurgence in the 1990s when the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time video game came out. So they have a resurgence. And they have an international ocarina festival in Budrio every few years. The next one is in a few weeks, and I am playing on a concert there on April 12th.
Dittersdorf. What a great name. Hi, I'm Mrs. Dittersdorf. Dittersdorf. Want to tell us a little bit about Dittersdorf, please?
So, the composer's name was actually Karl Ditters von Dittersdorf. So that's quite a mouthful. And he was a contemporary of Mozart. In fact, they knew each other. They actually kind of had a friendly rivalry. They actually played in a string quartet together along with Haydn. And I believe also one of Dittersdorf's pupils. That's hard to say. So if you can imagine, all these great composers playing in one string quartet together must have been quite amazing. But Dittersdorf actually found a fair amount of financial success, commercial success, selling his works and getting things published and making money from that while he was living. So he was fairly popular, but who here has heard of Dittersdorf? Yeah, almost no one. So, he was popular at his time, but then his music just kind of faded away to obscurity, whereas Mozart actually wasn't as successful during his lifetime. But now it's, anyone on the street knows who Mozart is. So it's just kind of interesting how that works out. This is the second movement from an oboe concerto that he wrote. And it's just a lovely little piece, very pretty melody. So I think you'll enjoy it. One interesting little fact about it, when Brie was up here playing the Mozart concerto, you may have heard at one point there was a big piano chord, and then just Brie was playing flute for a little while. So that's called a cadenza, and it usually happens towards the end of a piece. And it's just a little moment for the soloist to kind of show off. The second movement also has a little cadenza at the end, so you'll hear a big chord, and then I'll play a bunch of stuff on oboe, and then we'll finish the piece.
Mozart wrote this woodwind piano quintet in 1781. So Beethoven is, he was born in 1770, so he is 11 years old. Just to give you an idea. This quintet was written during a rich time of piano concertos, during the piano concerto number 22 and 23. So it's very much like woodwind and piano soloist. It's very much like a piano concerto. But it's set up the same with the theme, first theme and development. It opens with an overture. So that's very as if I am a soloist there. And then we finish on a big chord. And the first theme comes in. So what I want you to notice is there's a lot of dialogue between all of us, musically, as if we're talking to each other. And I'm going to point that out. So, as I said, the development comes with using the theme, and this is the cue that we have moved into a development. The storyline now is being played out, and there's some conflicts and interesting repartee. Now I'm another key. Okay, I'm going to show this part at 70, everybody. And so, in a way, we're having a conversation. As you can see, I was waiting for them to arrive on my theme, and they finally do. There. This is in 3 movements. The second movement is a larghetto and a beautiful melody. Can you all play just the first 2 measures? or let's play 4 measures, because it has the question and then the answer. And they say if you want to get in a good mood, listen to Mozart. It's always balanced. If he's going up, then we're going down. If they're going to say a question in 2 measures, I'm going to say an answer in 2 measures. And you'll find yourself very in balance if you listen to Mozart. So you'll hear that theme all throughout. And then the 3rd movement is a very cheerful, perfect for springtime, like a robin call. And then they'll repeat after me. A lot of imitation. I say something, they imitate me. And there's a beautiful section of where we are imitating each other. What was that? Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, well, let's all show them, what should we show? Let's show like the a canon-like activity. This is imitation, like row, row, row your boat, where I come in, they come in, and so forth. Let's do the cadenza, just a little bit of that. And write on it so you can. So that idea, hello, 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 hello. And I love the ending. It almost sounds like a Elvis Presley song. Because it has the same kind of chords as the 40s. So that's that will be the ending, you'll catch it. So I want to tell you that he thought that this was he wrote to his father and he said that I myself consider it to be the best work I have ever composed. And I do believe it is one of the finest works of Mozart. And I want to thank my players for playing this quintet. I kept the score since I was in college because I love this piece so much and was so pleased to find you all here in Greensboro so that we can share in this delight. So that was the spot. It was at the end of the second movement when the oboe is doing, and then I do, and then the horn, and the clarinet. I hope you heard it. For me, just playing it now reminded me of spring and all the birds singing. I know that he was inspired by nature, and that bird song is in Mozart's music. just lovely? So grateful. We have an encore for you. It's a joke on his 40th symphony. And Tom Turinchik is our composer.